Hello everyone, thank you for joining us this evening, whether you're here in the office with us or at home. Tonight we're going to go through and talk about purification and detoxification and why that should be a part of our lives and the process that Standard Process has created to help make that nice and simple for us. So tonight we'll be talking about why we need to do an annual detoxification system, a review of the detoxification pathways, that is how our body processes toxins and removes them, introduction to the Standard Process Detox Balance kit that we'll be offering for everybody, the dietary guidelines that go along with the program, and then our special group offer for all practice members. So toxins in our daily environment and in our world can contribute to many common health complaints that us adults face every day. So we're talking food cravings and weight gain, reduced mental clarity. Now this can be anything from brain fog to anxiety, depression, issues with short-term memory, joint discomfort, fatigue or difficulty sleeping, skin issues, right? This is any kind of acne, rashes, patches, indigestion, and low libido. Now, sadly, we live in a very toxic world. So a study in 2005 done by the Environmental Working Group, which is an independent group, they're not owned by anybody, completely third party, and they go out there and they test products and they give very honest reviews and they kind of do the research on toxins. Back in 2005, they identified 287 environmental contaminants in the umbilical cord of newly born babies. The urine of 22 mothers, this is a different study, was then tested in 26 children, and it was found in every single one of them a carcinogenic fire retardant, TDCPP. I did not look up what that chemical is, but needless to say, it's a fire retardant that causes cancer, and it was found in all of them. And I looked up a little bit more recent information, and actually just last month, a Finnish research group found microplastics in the placenta of newly born babies. And really the concern of that is what implication and what effects will that plastic, and when it breaks down, the chemicals in the plastic have on newborn babies. And so that's kind of shocking to realize that even as we're born into this world, we're already, being toxified from our environment. Now, how do these toxins get into our body? A lot of people ask me that. And it's pretty simple, right? So first through our lungs, right? Things that we breathe in goes right into the bloodstream. Our skin, right? Our outside skin is made to allow substances in and allow things to come out like sweat. And so it actually can absorb toxins right through the skin. And of course our gut and intestine. The lining of our gut, which a lot of people might not realize, is actually the very same skin that's on the outside. And so again, toxins that we're maybe consuming can cross that barrier just like pesticides and get right into our body that way. Now what's meant to happen is we're meant to have these toxins, and then our liver is meant to detoxify them and get them out of our body, and then we have many systems that help us to eliminate that, right? Whether we're breathing it out, like would be CO2, sweating it out of our skin, through the colon in our feces, or through the urine. But when our body has excess toxins, or not enough nutrients to process those toxins, they start to build up. And they get stored in places like our bone marrow, our fat, our muscles, our blood, and our liver, and most importantly, our central nervous system. So I know this is a busy slide, right? But the big takeaway about this is, number one, where do the toxins come from? So down in that right-hand corner, it breaks toxins up into two different categories. Number one is endotoxins. These are things that our body makes itself, right? So we all make a little ammonia that has to be processed and removed from our body. We all make CO2, and that too, those have to be expelled from our body, because if they reach a certain level, they become toxic. Now the other toxins are exotoxins. Those are things that come from the outside in, right? They talk about drugs, whether that be prescription, over the counter, or recreational. It's things like agricultural products, again, pesticides, Roundup, food additives, anything that's preserved or packaged. You flip that label over and it's going to be full of chemicals and compounds you've never heard about. Yeah, those are food additives. Household chemicals, sadly most of the things in our home today are filled with synthetic fragrances and dyes that, while they smell nice, actually are very toxic to us. And then pollutants and contaminants that are in the air and in the water, right? Like that's things like chlorine and fluoride. Now, what's meant to happen is these chemicals that come into our body, these toxins, are taken to the liver, and our liver has a step-by-step process for handling them and removing them. So I'm not going to go into great detail on this slide, but the most important thing is that this is phase 1 and this is phase 2, and what's used for those phases, guess what? To process those toxins, it's nutrients. Okay, it's vitamins and minerals that we're meant to be getting from our foods. These are things, a lot of B vitamins in here, basic building blocks of proteins, which are amino acids, healthy fats, and flavonoids. Those all come from plants, right? So our body is designed and able to process a lot of toxins if it has the right nutrition to do so. Now we'll talk more about the phases of how our body processes and handles these toxins. Firstly, we have phase 1. So in phase 1, all of those toxins, remember, that are stored in your muscle and your fat cells and your tissues and your central nervous system, they get mobilized. Maybe we lose weight, we do a cleanse, we do a detox, we start fasting, and we start getting healthy, and those toxins are getting released, right? Well, they're taken to the liver, and in many cases at this form, they're even more toxic, right? So they go from being toxic to even more toxic, a grenade to an atomic bomb. So our body immediately, our liver immediately neutralizes them. Using those nutrients from the previous slide, is going to attach things, kind of like attaching Legos together, and it's going to take those toxins and help to make them able to be eliminated from the body. And that takes us to phase 3. So in phase 3, that is how our body actually gets rid of the poisons. That can be sweating, feces, or urination. Now, we want to manage our toxic burden. We want to be mindful of this in our daily lives. Right, and the easiest way, obviously, is to reduce our exposure rate. And so we can do this by doing regular detox, okay, kind of helping the body along, doing a yearly cleanse. Compensation for genetic weaknesses, what that is that some of us, our bodies are really great at one of those phases of detoxification, but maybe not great at another. So this would be a person who would need to supplement on a very regular basis to allow their body to be able to process the daily toxic burden. And then protective dietary factors. What is this? Well, our diet has things in it that can protect our body, right? Those nutrients that we saw, things like antioxidants, those are in nature to protect us and help our body deal with all of this. And then repair of the damage. So of course, as a chiropractor, that's chiropractic, right? We need to get in there once the toxins are removed, help restore balance to the nervous system. Now what we're going to talk about is the actual detox itself. So standard process, right, created this amazing program, right? It's a great shake, has everything in it that we need, right? It's completely plant-based, so whether you practice a carnivorous diet, an omnivore, if you are vegan or vegetarian, this shake has tons of plant-based protein to allow us to detox, right? We take 1 to 3 shakes a day, and there's no additional supplements, right? So we're not having to take the shake, take a bunch of other stuff. Really, if you just took the shake, you're getting everything that you need. So a little bit of highlights on this, right? First off, as I said before, the shake has 17 grams of protein that is all plant-based, right? So it's pea, buckwheat, pumpkin, and this is going to give us the right amount of protein to keep us full, help fight those food cravings as we give up things we shouldn't be eating, and to help our body process this. It helps to alkalize us. So we've all heard of, acidic versus alkaline. When our body is in a state of acidity, which we get pushed there through our standard American diet, that's a state of disease, right? Cancer, anything that's degenerative thrives in an acidic state. So we want to alkalize our body, and the shake is full of potassium that helps us do that. Improve fiber, right? Getting those good poops, but fiber is going to help to bind the poisons in our gut and allow us to eliminate them very easily. We have things like magnesium and creatine for energy. The phase 1 and phase 2 enzymes, those are the chemical machines attaching the water-soluble or fat-soluble part to the toxin so we can remove it. Antioxidants and amino acids, right? And now it has great patient compliance. It's made to be very simple to take, easy, and for pretty much any patient. So as I said, this shake is nice and easy. Everything that you need, with previous detoxes or other detoxes, there's a shake, There can be different foods you're supposed to eat or not eat, and there can be a lot of supplements that have to be taken with that, but they made it nice and easy. So it's an all-in-one shake that can be taken on the go. It's safe, so it's not just a cleanse that stirs up toxins. What's in there is not only going to stir them up, but it's going to help to bind them so our body can easily remove them. And it's also healthy. Standard Process has one of the best organic farms in the entire world. Most of what's in this shake is made there in Wisconsin on their farm, and they are diligent about their testing and making sure that every batch is up to their high standard. So we want to prepare our bodies for this journey that we're going on. Firstly, if there's deficiencies and nutrient issues, if you're taking vitamin D, if you're taking a B complex, that's fine. Keep taking that, right? We want to stay on what we're taking, and this can just be gently added into what we're already doing. Elimination diet, right? So we are going to want to eliminate those highly triggering foods. We're talking about dairy, peanuts, eggs, soy, and gluten. That's going to allow our body to have even more of a healing effect. And then as we incorporate those back later, it can really help to show us which foods were triggers before that we didn't even realize. Diet requirements, right? So if you are concerned about how much protein you're getting in a day, if you have diabetes and you're maybe concerned about how much sugar, that is something that we can sit down, you and I, and discuss that personally to make sure that you're getting everything you need in addition to the shakes. Coffee and alcohol, this is a big one, I know. But yes, we do want to wean down the amount of coffee and alcohol that we're drinking. Standard rule of thumb, if you're drinking more than 1 drink a day of alcohol, you want to cut that down to about 1 drink a day before you start the detox so you can step down easily. And when it comes to coffee, I'm a coffee drinker myself, I understand that, but it really depends on the quality of the coffee and how much we're drinking, right? If someone says to me, Dr. Alicia, I'm going to have 2 cups of black coffee in the morning, is that okay? Yes, there's a big difference between that and 6 cups of coffee, 8 cups of coffee, or swinging through Big B or Starbucks and getting that big, grande, frappa mocha, whatever it is, full of sugar. Keeping it black is going to be okay for us, but we do want to also keep in mind and limit it to no more than 1 or 2 cups a day because we want to stay nice and hydrated. And now this is also, we're going to be doing the 28-day program here in the office, but they also offer a 10-day program. Now once you've done the 28-day program, this 10-day program is great to do, maybe after a binging period of time or a time when we want to kind of shed a little bit of weight, go on vacation, or for our birthday, right, and get that refresh. So they also make the 10-day. Now during this journey, the role of the shake is to provide your body with everything you need and then some to do true metabolic detoxification, right? So that is ensure that we have a balanced phase 1 and phase 2. Remember I said that during phase 1, those toxins are released and they become more toxic. So we need that phase 2 to happen immediately to keep those toxins from being a bull in a china shop and causing more damage in our cells. It's going to help have those antioxidants, keep our energy high, and help to alkalize our body. It's going to ensure proper phase 2 enzymes, again, those chemical machines attaching things, making all of these toxins more water or fat soluble. And again, that creatine and the glutathione, those are great for our cells as protectors and to give us some energy. Now in each booklet that you're going to receive with your kit, right, everybody gets a booklet with their kit, and in this booklet is a toxicity questionnaire. So you fill this out, it's a couple pages long, and on here what it's going to do is going to have you rank your symptoms. Symptoms that you may or may not realize are related to toxicity, and at the end you total those up and it gives you a number. Now the goal of this is not only to shed light on some of those symptoms that you're feeling and really kind of put into context how much that's affecting your life, but also to allow us to redo the survey after you detox so we can really applaud the progress that you've made and how much you've helped your body. So again, this is talking about the 28-day program. For most people, it's best if you've never detoxed before to kind of do what they suggest and ramp yourself up. So they have you start off with 1 shake for a period of time, 2 shakes, 3 shakes, and then we work our way back down. And in that way, again, it keeps it very safe, gentle, yet highly effective. And then for the 10-day as well, you can see that that can be ramped up as well. Now, the great thing about these shakes is they're perfect for when you're busy, on the go, working, school, whatever you have going on. Personally, I kind of pre-portion them in jars, and then I know as I go about my day, I toss one in, and no matter what I'm doing, I have that as a meal replacement / a detox shake. Right? Easy to mix with water or a plant-based milk. And you, of course, add ice, and some people like to blend it up and make a smoothie, and that's great as well. So let's talk about what we're eating, right? Those are the two biggest questions I get. Number one, what does it taste like, and what can I eat? So for those of you that are worried about the taste of this shake, we have some in office, right? And we can mix you up a little bit, and we'll do a sample day where people can try that. It is a chai flavor, but then the next big question is, what can I eat? So on this detox, right, some detoxes are different and they don't allow you to eat, or they don't allow you to eat meat, and that's fine if that's really what you're going for. But on this one, eating is recommended, right? So we want to focus on a plant-based, Whole30 type diet. Really, their recommendation, you get unlimited vegetables in this, right? So you get to eat all the vegetables you want with a goal of 5 to 7 servings a day. You want to use fresh or frozen. And homemade vegetable juice is recommended. That's a great additive to this, getting those extra nutrients in. And a good rule of thumb, especially if you're just now incorporating this much vegetables, is to focus on having half of the vegetables cooked and half of the vegetables raw. That's going to give you a good variety of fiber and nutrients to help balance all of this out. When we talk about fruit, right, we do have to limit our fruit consumption a bit. We don't want to spike up our blood sugar too much. But the daily recommended servings is about 2 to 3 servings a day, fresh or frozen. However, fruit juice, even if homemade, is not allowed. And the reason for that is, the average person will sit down and eat an orange or an apple. But when you drink a glass of juice, you could be drinking the equivalent of 6 or 8 or 12 pieces of fruit in that one glass. And without the fiber, really it's just going to spike your blood sugar. They do limit berries to 1 serving a day, as well as bananas. So healthy grains, right? We can eat some grains on this. It's about a serving a day. Mind you, a serving of cooked grains, whether that be maybe quinoa, wild rice, brown rice, is a palmful, right? So what you would scoop with your own hand. And we usually want to do organic if possible, but non-GMO if that's what's available, and absolutely gluten-free, right? So that's one of the big changes on this for some of you, is going to be giving up that gluten, but that's going to make you feel a lot better. Lean meats and fish, right? So for anyone worried about how much meat you can eat, you're more than welcome to eat meat in addition to the protein in the shakes. Of course, we want to have as organic or farm-raised as possible, and we really want to avoid any kind of processed meat. So that would be sausages, canned meats, lunch meat, hot dogs, etc. Those are filled with preservatives and food additives that are going to go against the recommended diet for this. Fatty fish is excellent, and all of that can be baked, broiled, roasted, poached, however you like to cook it, except not fried. Now ideally you want to avoid or limit dairy, being more obviously dairy milk and cheese. However, organic farm-raised eggs or cage-free eggs are fine, as is an organic butter, if that's what you like to use for cooking. Those are accepted in this. And of course, we want to limit our soda, diet sodas, energy drinks, non-herbal teas. So that would be anything that you can buy, especially in a jar at the store or a bottle, and those caffeinated drinks. One thing to be mindful of as well is the packaging that our food comes from. So as we're trying to detox and pull these toxins out of our body, we want to try to not re-toxify as we're doing this. And so looking for plastic packaging if necessary, but that's BPA free, right? So we want to limit that as much as possible. I personally steer clear of plastic as much as possible and really focus on food in glass, or in jars. I don't store anything in plastic, and I absolutely don't drink out of plastic water bottles. So now in your book as well is all of this, right? So there's a lot in there. There's a shopping list that is available for you. You can literally take it to the grocery store. And this is just a great showing of the plate, right? So this would be considered a plant-based diet plate. Most of our plate is plants, right? About 2/3 of what's on there is dark leafy greens. We get a little bit of serving of fruit, a small serving of grains, and some protein. This would be a perfect plate to accompany you on this detox. And so for all practice members, if we are doing this as a group order this week, we're gonna offer this detox kit. It's a 28-day kit. It includes 3 tubs of the detox protein, either plain or chai. I would highly recommend the chai flavored. A guide that goes with it. Okay, and then a blender bottle as well. So you can shake this up while you're at work, after the gym, in between meals. Makes it very convenient. Now, the normal price for this retail is $260 for the whole 28 days. But anyone that orders this week by the end of day Thursday, 5 p.m., we're gonna give you guys a special group or offer of $225. And then, thank you. Any questions?